Everyone, it's dataset. Thank you for joining me on another exciting tutorial video. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to use the ifs, and nested if function, and how to combine if with the and function to handle multiple conditions. I'll be using a dummy dataset called department performance data. It's not based on real figures, just a simple made-up dataset with 150 rows to help us focus on learning the formulas. On this sheet named employee data, I'll show you how to apply the if function, ifs function, and nested if function, and also see how to combine if with and to handle multiple conditions. Here, I've written statements on the sheet, but technically in Excel, we call them functions. They both mean the same thing in this context. I've included the dataset used in this video. It's available for download using the link below. Feel free to follow along as you watch the video. We'll be using these functions to complete the performance status, performance rating, bonus level, and bonus eligible field in our dataset. Now, these functions are perfect when you have a dataset and want to apply specific criteria to group or classify your data. For instance, we'll determine who passes or fails under performance status. Then, for performance rating, we'll group them into excellent, good, average, or poor. We'll also assign high, medium, low, or no bonus under bonus level. And finally, we'll use conditions to identify who is eligible or not eligible for a bonus. We'll be using the score, sales, and attendance field to define the conditions for each category. I'll be going a bit slower in this video so you can easily follow along as we go. Now let's get started. We'll start with the performance status field, and we'll be using the if function here. The if function works like a conditional statement. You're basically telling Excel to perform one action if a certain condition is met. Otherwise, do something else. The if function has three arguments, which are the condition, the value if true, and the value if false. Let's go ahead and type in our formula. You want to start with the equal to sign. This tells Excel that you're about to type a formula. Then we'll type our if function. You can double click on that or just type your open parentheses. Now you can see the arguments needed for this function. We'll be starting with the logical test, which is the condition we want to set. Here on our criteria section, you can see that we want to use the score greater or equal to 70 as part. Now we'll move to our formula. We'll select our first score cell, which is D2, then type greater or equal to 70, then comma. Next is the value if true argument. If the value is true, we want it to return pass. Inside the double quotation mark, we'll type pass. We are using double quotation marks because we are returning text values. If we were returning numbers, we'll just type the numbers directly, then comma. The last argument is value if false. What we're saying here is, if for values that are not greater than 70, what should happen? I want to return fail. You don't need to write another condition because here it is only asking for 3 inputs. So we'll just type fail in double quotation marks for value if false. Then you close your parentheses. You can also use your formula bar to recheck your formula, then press enter on your keyboard. You can see that we returned the value pass for the first row. You can put your cursor at the bottom right till you see the plus sign. Then you double click on that to autofill your formula down your sheet. Now you can see we have some pass and fail values. That's just a simple way to use your if function. Moving on to the next one, which is the if function. The if function is only available in Excel 2016 and newer versions. If you are using an older version like Excel 2013 or 2010, you won't find the if function, and that's where the nested if comes in. Now let's start with the if function. Earlier with the if function, we could only type in one condition, but if makes things more flexible. It lets you add as many conditions as you want. For the if function, we'll be stating 4 different conditions using these criteria. We'll move to our performance rating field, and on the first cell, we'll start with our equal to sign, then type ifs. It pops up. You can double click on that or go in with your open parentheses. Note that if it doesn't pop up, it means you're likely using an older version of Excel. You can see here that the first argument is logical test 1, which is your first condition. Here we stated that our first condition should be our score greater or equal to 90, which is excellent. So we'll go back to our formula. We'll be selecting the first cell value in our score field, which is D2. Then type greater or equal to 90. Note that you always start with your highest condition value first, especially when you're working with numbers. That's because Excel evaluates each condition in order. Once a condition is true, it stops checking the rest. If you start with the smallest value to the highest, as soon as it sees that the smallest value is true, it stops checking and returns the same value for all. So by starting with the highest value, you make sure your result comes out correctly. Next, I'll type a comma. Then for my value if true, I want to return excellent. So in a double quotation mark, I'll type excellent, then comma. Next is the logical test 2. So we'll be repeating our set criteria here to the last one. I'll type the D2 greater or equal to 80, then comma, value if true is good. Don't forget your double quotation mark, then comma. Next, D2 greater or equals to 70, then comma. Then if true, return average. Last one for us is D2 less than 70. Your last condition should use only less than, not less than or equal to, because your other conditions already have the equal to sign. Using less than or equal to will overlap and cause an error. Then we'll type comma. Then value if true is poor. You can see that you can still keep on going with your logical test as much as you want, but for this tutorial, we'll stop here. Now you close your parentheses. You can use your formula bar to check your formula and make sure it's correct, then press enter on your keyboard. We'll move to the bottom right of the cell and double click to autofill our result formulas all the way down to the last data row. Next, we'll move to the nested if function. We'll be using 4 conditions here, just like we did with the ifs function. For those working with an older version of Excel, the nested if returns same as the ifs function for multiple conditions. The nested if simply means placing one if function inside another if function. That's why it's called nested. You're basically combining multiple if functions within a single formula to test several conditions. In the bonus level field, we'll start with the equal to sign, then if. Our logical test is our first condition. Here at our criteria section, we have our first condition to be sales greater or equal to 1.6 million. Our sales field is in column E, so we'll select E2 greater or equal to 1.6 million, which is 16 and 5 zeros, then comma, value if true. We'll type our high bonus in a quotation mark, then comma. Now it's asking for value if false. Here we'll be going in with another if function to state another condition. We're simply telling Excel that if it doesn't meet the first condition, I want to state another if condition. So we'll type if again, open parentheses. Then our next condition, E2 greater or equal to 1.3 million, then comma. Then value if true, we type medium bonus, then comma. We'll go in with another if. You can see that we're nesting the if into each other, then open parentheses. Our next condition is E2 greater or equal to 1 million, then comma. Then value if true is low bonus, then comma. Now we have our value if false. We don't have any other condition aside the last one, so we'll just type no bonus. Don't forget your quotation mark. Now we'll close all our parentheses for the if functions. We open 3 if functions, so we'll close all 3 parentheses. Using your formula bar, you can see that you've nested 2 if functions inside 1 if function. Next, I'll press enter, and this gives me my first result. Now I'll autofill the rest. The last one here is to check for bonus eligibility. Here we'll be using the if with the and function. This is because we are checking 2 conditions, the score and the attendance, and both must be true. We'll start with the equal to sign, then if. Next is the AND function. We'll type AND, open parenthesis. The first argument is logical 1, which is our first condition, which is the score greater than or equal to 70. That is D2 greater or equal to 70. Logical 2, which is attendance, F2 greater or equal to 90. We only have two logical conditions, so we'll close the AND parenthesis, then comma, value if true. We're saying anyone that meets both conditions should return eligible, then comma. If it's not met, return not eligible. We'll close our parentheses, then press enter on our keyboard. Then we autofill our result. From our data set, we can see that some individuals are marked as eligible for a bonus, but have no bonus under the bonus level. This is because certain conditions were not met. In my next video, I'll show you how to use a conditional aggregation function like COUNTIF and COUNTIF to calculate counts across different groups in your data. This technique can help you uncover insights such as identifying those who are eligible for a bonus but didn't receive one, and help you think about how such cases can be handled in a real-world data set. So stay tuned and turn on your notification so you don't miss it. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I can't wait to see you in the next one.